So when I got there, it was a pretty hard scene. There was nothing I could do for the person who was under the suspended load. I turned my attention to the person who called it through, which was a standby person, because they were obviously in shock. So I spent my time trying to get that person to calm down. So when the other team members came, the attention focused on first aid support for our team member in shock, and then just starting to prep for how we actually preserve the scene, how we make sure we go through this, because then we've got the police that come in, and there's a whole big response that comes from that. The day itself is a bit, in regards to what I felt, it's still a bit of a blur for me. I think the training kicked in where I just went through the process. It wasn't probably until the following day that it really started to hit me around what had happened, and I was feeling in shock myself. But and for me, it was more about, how did this happen? I mean, this was pretty routine work. It was routine work. It was a routine activity that was done. It was a very experienced person that we knew well. Quite a few questions were starting to come up for me around how does that happen, right? Because we all talk about how important it is to get the training and the competency, and that was drummed into me as an emergency response team member, that to be a good emergency responder, it's all about training. So that was what was coming up for me.
Did you ever think anything like that could happen to your colleagues or even yourself in that workplace?
It's weird. I've just had this conversation with a client as well around, I started the conversation with a workshop with some senior leaders around who thinks it's impossible for this to happen, right? And everyone knows it can happen. So my answer to that is yes and no. So it was sort of yes, because I'm an emergency response team member. You're preparing for that to happen, so you know it can happen. We're constantly having conversations every day about our work and the critical risks, and I'll sort of get to that implication at some point. I think we've probably touched on it in quite a few different episodes, but no, that still human sense of it won't happen to me, it won't happen to us, was fundamentally still there.